Welcome everybody to episode 11 of EHTC. We have Emily and Dan tonight. Emily, how you doing? Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good. This is the best day of the week. It's a highlight with the podcast, so we're excited.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to this every week. And
Mhm.
typically we'll probably bring up later. We kind of go a little bit longer than we really anticipate because we're having so much fun, but that's why I look forward to it every week. But how are you doing? How is your week going? And what's new?
Um, Week is going really well. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. It's
Mm-hmm.
hump day. Two more easy days left of the week, so happy with that. I don't know. Not much new is going on. Spent
Yep.
all day Sunday watching the games, it was beautiful.
So you had mentioned that you were going to the Packer game. Did you not go?
No, long story short, I'll save you all the gory details. I was sick this weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, no, unfortunately was not able to go. I was super bummed because it would have ended up being a good game,
Yeah.
went
Yep.
into overtime, got the dub. But yeah, we had to sell our tickets. I was very bummed about it, but
Yeah.
feeling better though.
Good. Yeah, there is something going around this area. Monaco is sick. I got sick for a little bit, so it's too
It's not
bad.
fun.
No. But what about Dan? How is your weekend and your week so far going?
Yeah, it was great. That Packer win was very uplifting. My entire gym pretty much is sick right now. I
Ooh.
actually had to go in this week. They put me on a steroid, and I'm already feeling light years better.
Oh, good.
Um, but yeah, just wrapping some things up before I go to visit my sister and family out in North Dakota next week for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So I
Nice.
guess you kind of started with that, but with your weekend plans? So you guys are going you're going next Wednesday, correct, Dan?
Yeah.
Yep. You have any big plans this weekend, or are you just getting ready to packing?
No, I'm gonna do some heavy duty winter cleaning and honestly just kind of button up some things at work before I leave.
What about you? What do you have going on this weekend?
We are hosting a Thanksgiving with my mom and grandma. First holiday ever hosting. I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm making a turkey, brining it the night before. It's going to
Nice.
be tasty. I'm really excited about it. I actually don't feel stressed, thank God, like most moms do around Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know I'm not a mom, but you know what I
Yep.
mean.
Yep.
No, I'm feeling good about it.
So
So
you're gonna brine the turkey? That's a good start. How are you gonna cook it then?
in a Nesco. So I
Okay.
had a turkey like a few months ago. We were cleaning out our freezer and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna make this, borrow my mom's Nesco. And it turned out really well. So I think
Nice.
that's the way I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Very cool. I've been on a chicken. I've been smoking some chickens quite a bit lately. So and I got a I've been religiously probably for the last 6 months. Every time I do that, I brine them for about 24 hours, and it definitely helps. Gives it some extra flavor. So it's a
Big
good
time.
call.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So Emily, I get we might be kind of playing a broken record here, but I was going to ask how we know each other. I feel like just like a lot of other people in our league, I think there's a common denominator here.
Probably. I know you or met you through Stu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Stu met you guys at
Yeah,
all.
I
Just going to the bars?
yeah, I think I met some people that I met from bartending at the Coliseum, and then I
Yeah.
kind of then I met Stu, and then I met Stu and Cheyenne, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
you, and then just kind of we just
Everyone.
yeah, then we were just a big happy family.
Absolutely, we were.
Yeah. So where are you from? And what I don't even know this. I feel like this probably has changed since last time, but where are you from? And for our nationwide or worldwide listeners, in case they are interested. And then what do you do for work?
So born and raised in good old Fondlesack, Fondy. Love it here. Moved away for college and everything, but came back. Just love the area. And I am a cheese scientist for a cheese company here in Wisconsin. I get to make cheese every day, eat my cheese, and eat pizza every day. It's pretty damn fun. I
That's
love it.
awesome.
So, yeah, so I'm designing like new products. I'm in new product development.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm a
See,
nerd.
like, yeah, well, hey, like I said, that's it definitely changed since the last time that we had talked about
Yeah,
that.
I
So,
think so. Yep.
how's your Notre Dame Irish doing so far this year? I haven't been keeping tabs.
Oh, well, we got the new coach, Marcus Freeman.
Yep.
So glad to be rid of that old LSU guy. Oh my gosh, can't stand him. Brian Kelly. Um, started the season off a little rocky, lost to what, Ohio State, Marshall, and somebody else. But they've been picking it up again. I think they're now 7-3. I think this is going to be week 11 for college. I think
Okay.
7-3. Yeah, doing really well. Last time I checked, they were ranked like number 20 something. So we're
Mhm.
back in the rankings. Started off the season at like number 5 or something. And then we were quickly out of the top 25
Yeah.
with the loss to Marshall. But we're chugging along, trying to climb our way back. And hopefully we get a good bowl game.
Yeah.
So mhm.
I know that some Notre Dame fans were happy that Brian Kelly was out of there, but that guy could hold a presser like no other. I loved it. Just sat and he just shat all over his players or whatever. It was fantastic. I loved
Yep.
it.
I totally agree. I was shocked when we found out that he was leaving for LSU. I don't think I was ever sad. I think I was just automatically upset and furious. Like, how could you leave before the bowl game, like leave your players high and dry? And then he gets that Southern accent, when he's
Yeah.
at that halftime basketball game. I was just like, come on, buddy.
Yep.
But hey, LSU is actually looking pretty damn good. I mean, even though I'm not a big fan of Brian Kelly, he is a great coach.
Yeah.
And he's really turning everything around there. So
Good.
yeah.
Good. So do you tonight, Dan, I know you showed me before, but do you have a certain cocktail in your hand, a certain drink of choice tonight?
So you guys are well, I do have the Basil Hayden's
That's right. Here we
with
go.
me. Unfortunately, I will not be drinking this. I'm on an antibiotic and I want it to
Okay.
work. So it is here with me in spirit. I do
Okay.
have some nice cranberry juice,
There
though,
you go.
like a 70-year-old man. But,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Hey,
that's me. It's here with me in spirit.
I will have some for you though tonight,
Thank you.
Emma,
I appreciate it.
right?
Dan, what do
So
you have?
I'm with you coming off of the sickness. I got water tonight.
Perfect.
I'm no fun, but I also have the Basil Hayden's here in spirit.
Good.
So Em, I have to ask, how do you like or dislike the league so far this year? I guess I shouldn't say that. This is our first year. So how do you feel about our fantasy league in general? Some pros and cons. Just anything that kind of that you want to talk about. I'm just curious on your thoughts of the whole thing.
I love it. Thank you so much for inviting me into the league. This is way better than any of my other fantasy football leagues that I've done in the past. Starting off this season, I thought the draft party at 3rd and 1 was awesome. Getting everybody together, we had some nice camaraderie, and then your cookout was just perfect for that as well. Getting into the season, it's definitely frustrating, and we can talk about that later.
Yep.
But I love it. I think we're all like nice to each other, but we also talk shit to each other. I'm a big fan of it.
Yep. So how do you like the sleeper platform compared to others?
Pretty similar to what everyone else has said on the podcast. It was very difficult at first. at first I was just like, Nick, oh no, what are we doing here?
Yep.
But since I've used it more, it's so much more easy to use, as you keep using it. And just like all the different stats they have,
Yeah.
and the trending players that are trending up, trending down, I think that is really cool that most other apps don't really have. So I'm
Yeah.
a big fan. I would use this for any other
Yeah.
league
Yep.
that I would ever be in.
Yep. Especially now that, like you said, now that we know how to use it and kind of navigate the app in general,
Yeah.
it's pretty smooth. And talking and when you were talking about the top trending player, did you guys see what the top trending player was this week by chance?
Shocker.
Dan-
Who
That's
is it?
right.
I did not
That's
look.
it's my guy, Christian Watson.
Oh. Well,
I
good for
had
him. Good for him.
Hey, absolutely. Yes, exactly. So what is your team name and your record and how you're doing so far in that regard?
It's a great question. I had to pull up the app real quick. My name is Eminem. Like the candy, but spell EM as in Emily. I am 5-5. I'm pretty sure I started off this season doing pretty well. And then I had the last couple weeks, couple flaws, took
Yep.
some big L's. But I'm trying to climb my way back to even. Last time I checked, I was in like 7th place overall.
You're
Something like
you're in
that.
6th now.
6? Ooh, oh yeah, right there. I see it. Nice. I'm in 3rd place in our division. I'm not out of it. Not out of it.
Nope.
So I'm trying to
No,
stay positive.
no, absolutely
Uh,
not. And
just to stick with tradition, I
Mhm.
have to talk shit one time, and then I play nice for the rest of the pod.
Okay, deal.
I have your first round pick this year, so
Correct.
I would really love for you to fall out of the top 6 into the
Mm.
toilet bowl. So if you can do that for me and just, go to the toilet bowl so I can get a better draft pick, that'd be great. That's the only shit I'm gonna say. Now I will play nice the rest of the pod.
That's kind of given me a little extra motivation, to do better, to
Yep.
climb my way up. I hope I take first place. And
Yeah.
then you get the last pick. I mean, I don't know if
Then
I
I would
can
have the
catch you
last
guys.
2 because I'm gonna get second if you win. So
That is true. You're way up there.
Yeah.
But
So, how have you felt just in the last couple weeks since the deadline has passed? Have you, I guess Dan kind of asked like last week how he thought people were gonna like kind of going forward, how it was gonna go. How are you feeling about it now that you're what you got? The only way you can change your team now is picking up like
off the
sleepers
waiver
or
wire. Yeah.
streamers, I should say.
Mm-hmm. I wish I took advantage more of the trades during the first half of the season. I have this weird thing with trades. I like get too attached to my players and then I can never think of getting rid of them. And it's just like I gotta work on it. I gotta see a therapist about getting too emotionally attached. But so yeah, like Dan sent me a couple trades. Nick, I think you sent me a trade, and I was just like, oh, my Stefan Diggs. Like, how could I ever get rid of him? Everyone wanted DeAndre Swift. Wait, yeah, that's
Yep.
his first name, right? It
Yep.
just
Yep.
sounded weird coming out of my mouth. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of him. Yeah, I wish I would have gotten something for him. Jamal Williams is doing amazing. And in my opinion, I think he's RB1 there in Detroit and Swift is number 2, it seems like. I don't know if the stats actually show that, but just from watching the games, that's what it seems like. So it's a little frustrating. I wish I would have at least gotten like my first round pick back or something for him. But you live and you learn. Next year, definitely gonna take better advantage of it. Yeah. How do you
just
guys feel?
my 2 cents on that though, I would feel a lot better if I was you. DeAndre Swift, I think it's just because he's been so banged up and missed a couple weeks. But remember after week 1, I think he put up 150 yards week 1.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's only 23 years old.
I know,
Detroit
he's
has
so
a
young.
really dynamic young offense. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually think you're going to be happy come off season. I think you're going to be happier that you have him on your squad next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think you're totally right. I also have to, keep reminding myself that we are in a dynasty league,
Yep.
It's okay if someone doesn't fully perform. They are only 23, wait till next year or the year after.
Yep.
So I do just have to keep reminding myself that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're totally right. Totally right.
Yep. And I think, yeah, I agree with Dan. I think you're gonna really appreciate having him on your squad come spring, and
Mhm.
you're gonna, and where I think like John is really gonna be kicking himself pretty good come spring for trading away Jonathan Taylor that fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
I
I agree.
yeah, that one I feel like you have to hang on to him at least for 3 to 4 years before you decide
Mhm.
to kind of like, all right, deuces, man. But hey,
Yeah.
he's got a he says he's got a plan up his sleeve, so I'm just excited to see what that's all about and
I
and
hope it
see if
works
it
out
works.
for him.
Hey, yeah, me too. Otherwise he's gonna be riding down in the bottom for a while, I think.
Uh-huh. Until he
Yeah,
rebuilds that team.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. But I the whole trade thing, the trade deadline, I definitely shot some trades out there, but I was also in maybe were they entirely fair or logical? Probably not. I mean, I guess I know the one that I sent you, Dan, that was probably pretty, that one with Josh Jacobs, that was pretty fair, but I also have a very young team and I can't just go throwing away young players.
Mhm.
So I know that I need to be careful about that. I don't want to bail on people too soon. Like I was trying to shop Rashad White at the deadline and look, and I know, yeah, I mean, I get it, but he's not saying the guy's going to be a superstar by any means, but things he's looking a lot better last couple of weeks, and
Mhm.
Lenny, he's going to be a cap victim, I think, either this year or well after 2 years for sure, and then he's going to have the whole show there,
Oh,
but
that
yeah,
makes sense. Mhm.
yep, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I think, I mean, obviously, I think the group chat is kind of slowed down a little bit because
It
of the trades,
has.
is which is sad. But I think one of us just needs to throw a hot take out there on Sunday morning or straight at noon, or just start getting light a fire into somebody's ass, just to get them going, and then we'll
Yeah.
yeah. But
I know I don't participate a lot in the group chat, but I do just like to sit back, and watch. And it's like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, you guys are just wild.
Yeah. I don't
I
know
love
about
it.
you, Emily, but I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just getting really stressed more than anything, knowing that I can't. Yeah, I know you're not, Dan, but I am. Yes, he's yawning in the background. But I'm getting pretty stressed now that we're like, you can't change your team
Yep.
really drastically anymore. So it's now we're holding on for dear life and hoping for the best this last 4 weeks. So
I totally agree. Earlier in the season, I don't know it. I've like grown, I think, as a person because at the beginning of the season, I was so stressed out and I thought any loss was literally the end of the world. And I
yeah,
would dwell on it for days. And then maybe come like week 3, I was just like, you know what? Everybody goes through losses in fantasy football. It's going to be
yep.
okay. We're going to wake up tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Um, so I've lost that though again. Now it's the end of the world. So I'm just keep going in waves,
Yep.
unfortunately. I got to pick that back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally feel the same way. Just looking at my team right now, like
Well, you're 5-5. That's good. I mean, you're a full game ahead. And then what did Dan say? You were in the seventh spot?
6.
6.
Six? Oh, so you're
Mhm.
right there. Well, I've just pulled up the projections, and not that this matters any,
Yeah.
but Dan, for Dan and Aaron, it has stayed exactly the same. That they're going to be end up 10-4. Jake gained a win. He's also going to be 10-4. And then it's gonna, as this is not me saying this, is just a league analyzer.
Oh, great.
And then fourth is going to be Brian. 5 is Bo, and 6 is Isaac at 7-7. Bo and Isaac are 7-7. Emily, it says you only, to be fair, it says you and Isaac are both at a 43% chance of making it. and you're both 7-7. And so I just
Into
wonder
the
if there's some.
playoffs?
Yep. So I wonder if there's
Okay.
just some points, maybe depending on the points
Maybe.
scored.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I lost out. I lost a game compared to the last time I looked at this. This said it was gonna end up
no.
7-7. Now I'm 6-8, but we still have 4 weeks to go. So there's anything can happen in fantasy
There's
football.
time. Mhm.
Yep. I'm doing like a lot of pacing back and forth, waiting for Jamar Chase to come back. Because once Jamar Chase comes back, baby.
Yeah. I thought I got a notification today saying that he's practicing.
Oh, Jamar is? I did not read that. I've been looking up his name quite a bit. I haven't seen any news, but
Yeah.
that's
Don't
good.
quote me.
I think they
but I
said
thought I saw something.
he's ahead of pace, I believe, for the recovery timeline.
Sweet. Sweet.
But talking
Yeah.
about the rest of the season, you've got a really important matchup this week.
With Isaac.
You've got Isaac, and he's ranked 7th. So that's a huge win for you, especially when you've got a guy like Nick in 8th, and Nick scored more points. So you want to keep those wins up.
That
Because
makes sense,
then
yeah.
you've got Jake and Aaron in week 12 and 13. So that's going to be 2 tough matchups. Obviously, your team's playing well. Anyone can win.
Yeah.
But this week is kind of like Green Bay against Dallas last week. You know, if
It's
you
a
lose
must win.
you're definitely not out if you lose, but you're sitting way better if you can get a win against Isaac this week. And then you stay up at least a game or 2 on him and Nick in 7th and 8th.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Looking at our little projections, he is projected to beat me by 6 points. But I still have Eno Benjamin in my running back spot, and obviously he was cut. So I'll switch that out, and maybe I'll bump up my projection a little bit.
And I'll never tell people if they have somebody on bye or anything, which you don't, but like I just let whatever. Because Kai sure didn't want to tell me about my defense when I was playing against you. God damn it. But
yeah, I was gonna say, wait, I did play against someone. Yeah, that was you. Yeah. Had the defense on by.
And I even tried playing sneaky that week.
I know you did. Who did you pick up? The Chargers or something? Because it was Monday night.
I had Denver on my team.
Oh,
and they're playing against the Chargers. But I saw that you didn't have a defense. So I'm like, I'm gonna pick up the Chargers.
Yeah.
Then you can't pick up a team. And it wouldn't have mattered either way. But I was like, and I figured it out. I'm like, I set my lineup, but I remembered it when you add a player, it automatically goes to the following week.
Oh, so if you add it like say Saturday.
So I had set my lineup for the next week thinking that so I'm at work and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But it wouldn't have mattered. But I thought that was funny. But that's fantasy football. You got to get sneaky with that kind of stuff, you know?
It is.
Because if it would have worked out, I would have gave you so much crap for
that. That's fair, and I would have taken it. And I thought I was being sneaky, like you weren't gonna notice that. Oh, I'm gonna pick up those Chargers defense real quick, and I would have bet a ton of money. When I woke up the next morning and I saw my waiver, I was just gonna be like, yes, and then it wasn't there. And I was devastated. Poor Kai had to listen to me bitch. That effing
Dan. True story. 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember the player, but I was in the championship game and a guy's quarterback got hurt or something. He was out. I literally went on the waiver wire and picked up like the top 5 quarterbacks. And he had to start like bottom of the barrel. And again, it didn't matter, but I thought it was hilarious. Because it's the last week, so it was a redraft. So like, I don't care if I'm just cutting all my bench players. Like,
you're not going to use them.
I had 8 quarterbacks on my roster.
I love it.
Oh, too good. Well, hey guys, do you think that maybe we should get into our I'm sure there'll be some more fantasy talk kind of spinning off from NFL, but should we start off with our favorite segment of the week in Obi's picks?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, this is going to be a fun one because we have our, well, let's let the video speak
Nick,
for it.
This is an important game because Obi, we know Obi's not biased, but we got a big game this week. So let's hope Obi's with the home crowd.
Welcome everybody to week 11 of Obi's picks. We have our very own Green Bay Packers, and you may be able to see Obi's bandana. He is sporting a Packers bandana this
Oh.
week. But anyways, the Packers 4-6 going up against the 6-3 Tennessee Titans. Obi, let's see who you got this week, buddy. Come on. Oh, he's going with the.
Oh,
Let's go Packers, Obi.
And I
Heck
love
yeah.
how he snagged both treats this
yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
Is that gonna be a tie? What does that mean?
He went
No, we'll
with
take the
it.
pack. Mhm.
Absolutely. I'm all on board with Obi's pick on this one. And I'm gonna try not to let my heart get too involved after that big win last week because you know how that happens. But yeah, last week that was really surprising, wasn't it? I mean, I know that there was some bad weather down in Carolina, but shit, that was not anywhere it did not happen anything like I thought it was going to.
No, we're
So
in I'm in a betting league, a fake betting league with Kai's family. I don't know if he talked about it when he was on. But you bet fake money on every game, you know, the spread, money line, blah, blah, blah. And I actually took Carolina to win on Thursday. So I was really proud of myself. Just had this gut feeling, you know. I don't think the Falcons are that good. Yeah, kind of, I don't know, not that good. So I was very proud of myself about that one. Not to toot my own horn or anything.
Are you in the Pick'em League with us with David and John or no?
no.
I am not, no.
Nick,
Maybe next year.
Nick, you've been on a little run here, not to go to that, but
Yep.
Nick, you've been on a little run. I had 3 really hot weeks and I've kind of fallen off.
Is this where you have to pick every single game?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Yep, the
Mhm.
spread is established on Tuesday and it doesn't change even
Oh.
depending on the betting on what Vegas, you know, on the, where
Mhm.
the money lines are, that doesn't change. So yeah, you have to pick every game, and the last 3 weeks I've been like a game out of being in the money or losing out on the tiebreaker. So this week I was tied for second place. And there was there was a guy that was 1 game up, and there was 3 people tied for second. And the leader and myself took the Eagles to cover lane 11.5, and the other 2 guys took the Commanders. Well, they moved up to tie with the leader, and I
so
was
that means
out.
you're out. Yeah.
I was out then. But yeah, no, I have been. I've my overall record I was below 500 there for a little bit, but now I think I'm 10 games over 500 over the course of the season. So it's a lot harder than you think, Emily. It's
I believe it. My boss is in a pick'em league like that, and we talk about the games, you know, all week. And she's like, "Who do I pick? Who do I pick?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you're 80 and 70 sitting in 4th place, but yeah, you've been hot the last couple weeks. And you know I'm always rooting for you because this week I was just bottom of the barrel. So I was of course pulling for you. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah,
Oh.
I need to get some of my money back, man. Even if I'm in 4th place overall, I haven't got 1 penny of my money back from my initial investments, but I can't complain too bad. I came out ahead last year, but it still sucks a little bit, but
it always does.
Yeah. So, Emily, before we I like to kind of touch on our Thursday night game, which is going to be tomorrow night, and this kind of is going to coincide with our Packers talk because the Packers are playing tomorrow. But I wanted to ask, so you're a Giants fan first?
I am. Yes.
So
Represent.
then, yep. So are you like, are the Packers like number 2 on that after you root for them after, or is there a different team that you kind of pull for?
No, Packers are number 2. I'll always root for the Packers unless they're playing the Giants, like they did in London. That I definitely rooted for the Giants. But yeah, no, so reason I'm a Giants fan. I went through this phase of rebellion when I was young. I did not want to be a Packers fan. Packers fans were crazy, and it's like a religion here in Wisconsin. So I was just like, I'm just gonna look down the list. Boom, New York Giants, 2004. Eli Manning gets drafted. Just fell in love with the team. You had the Justin Tuck and the OCU Manura, and the 2 Super Bowl wins, and
Strahan.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget him? Yeah, I loved growing up a Giants fan. It was it's been embarrassing the last 5, 6, 7, I don't even know how many years now. But this year they're turning it around. So yeah, Giants fan, but I will totally root for the Packers.
Yeah, well,
So,
they had go ahead, Dan.
non-biased, being a Giants fan, do you genuinely believe you guys are the real deal and you got a shot, or are you just waiting for the wheels to fall off?
Well, so at the beginning of the season, talking to you about Saquon, I had zero faith in Saquon. He's been injured his entire NFL career. I thought he's going to be washed. Oh my gosh, did I eat those words real quickly. I think Saquon is the real deal, big time. The Giants, I just always feel like there's going to be a heartbreak, because I'm just so used to it. I do think we're the real deal. I just feel bad. Like, I'm trying not to jinx it or anything, just because I feel like there's always going to be a heartbreak. But right now, I mean, we are doing amazing compared to what we have the last couple of years. So I do think the Giants are the real deal. I just kind of got to come to terms with that.
Yeah, but also in a division that before the season started, everybody's like, oh, NFC East, they're all going to
They
beat
suck.
each other. They're all going to be about 500. Dallas will probably win, But you got 3 teams that are running away with it. And the
I
Commanders
know.
aren't, a great team, but
They're not fully out of it.
Right. So,
They're pulling off some crazy wins. I think the NFC East is the best division in football for sure.
Oh, right.
I think it's the most competitive. You never know what you're gonna get with some of the teams. Some weeks we could go out there and beat the Bills, we can beat the Green Bay Packers, all sorts of stuff. So it keeps you on your toes for sure, that division.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the Commanders. They are they great? No, but this next week they're going to have Chase Young back from what I'm seeing after a year off from an ACL tear, and typically guys don't come back 100% after an ACL tear. It usually takes them about another year to kind of get back to form. But
that makes sense.
But they still have 3 or 4 guys, first round picks on that defensive line. It's just sick. And I really do. And I'm not saying that Taylor Heineke isn't a winning quarterback, because he clearly has done a pretty solid job with what he's got. But they have a lot of good pieces there in Washington right now, with Brian Robinson Jr. looking really, really good. And those 3 receivers that they got the first round pick in Jahan Dotson, who's just coming back from an injury. Yeah. He looks really good. Obviously Scary Terry is a one hell of a he's a hell of a player. And Curtis Samuel is no slouch either. So I think, again, not to slight Taylor Heineke, if they got an upgrade, well, Carson Wentz isn't the answer there either.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but if they were to get a maybe not a significant upgrade, but a solid upgrade at quarterback, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be up there with a 1 or 2 loss team with the Giants and the Eagles right now, but they wouldn't be too far behind.
I totally agree with that. Taylor Heineke's fun to watch. I think the whole Commanders team is fun. But I totally agree. Carson Wentz is not the quarterback. I think this is Heineke's team for the rest of the season, and I hope Ron Rivera makes that call. Carson Wentz, he just needs to. He could be a good backup, maybe. I don't know. I just don't believe in him.
No, I don't either. And it's isn't it crazy how fast things turned for him? I mean, he was on the brink of winning MVP before he tore his ACL that year.
I felt bad for him that year.
Yeah. and then just was never really the same after that.
No.
But
Mm-mm.
He's such a professional because Carson Wentz just gets slammed by everybody.
He
Like
does.
McAfee, I love McAfee. McAfee was just blasting when Indianapolis picked up Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz came on the show and he's just the nicest, humblest.
Mm-hmm.
You want to root for the guy. He just doesn't have what it takes to be that next level.
I totally agree. Good guy, not the best quarterback.
and
Mhm.
I don't know if it's in his DNA to be a backup either. I kind of from what I've kind of seen, like how he, and like you said, he is professional in a lot of ways, but I don't know if he'd be able to accept being a backup. Maybe I might be
Yeah,
wrong, but
I don't know.
anyways, yeah. I mean, so what about hey, and let's just we'll talk about one more NFC East team because they happened to play our Green Bay Packers this last week. So what do you think about the Cowboys? Do you think they're kind of going to be in there this year, Emily, or do you think it's just going to be another?
Think it's going to be another so year. I don't think Mike McCarthy's the guy. I don't think Dak is the guy. I think Dak is a decent quarterback. But I don't think he's anything special.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I drafted my team, I kind of built my team around Dak Prescott. I thought at the beginning of the season, I thought he was the guy. I thought him and Zeke, yeah, he's not throwing to Zeke necessarily. But I thought those two were gonna really carry my team. Yeah, they have a winning record. They're what, 6 and
I think they're
3?
6-3 now.
6 and 3.
Yep.
Good team. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is amazing. And then you have oh my God, their defensive guy, Parsons.
Oh yeah.
And he's just wild.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a good team. I just don't think I don't think they have the full. I don't think they're well rounded.
They're
Maybe.
another step away, maybe step or two
Yeah.
away. Yeah. So
Yeah.
who do you think's going to come out of there without being having a biased opinion? Who do you think's going to come out of that division? Do you think the Eagles are going to run away with it, or do you think the Giants are going to kind of snag it from them towards the end?
I think the Eagles are going to win it. I think the
Yeah.
Giants will be number 2. And then I don't know, toss up between what's the Commanders record?
They're either
4
4
and
and
6 or 3 and
5, or
7, I think.
they've
Okay, so
got
they're
4 wins at least.
okay.
But
So they're a couple of games back.
mhm.
I don't know if they can pull it out and get third.
No.
I bet the Cowboys will take third in the division.
Okay.
I don't think I don't know if the Eagles I think the Eagles will be able to bounce back from the loss. I don't think they're the greatest team, if
Yep.
that kind of makes sense. I think they're a very like well coached team. I think they've gotten a little lucky, which is, hey, if that's how it works, that's how it works.
Yep.
You can't stop that.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Yep.
fully behind the Eagles.
Yeah.
If I don't think this will happen, but right now Washington is 5-5 and sitting in
Okay.
8th place for playoff. With the expanded playoff now with 7 teams instead of 6, if they win this week and San Fran loses, they move up and you would have 4 NFC East teams as of right now.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm sure they're playing each other down the stretch, but as of right now, you would have every NFC East team in the playoffs.
That's wild. Has that ever happened?
No, because
I
they
know.
just went to the 17.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely
Yep.
been a lot of times when you get 3 from a conference, but not 4.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I am on board with you, Emily. I don't really believe in the Eagles. I don't. I don't. I don't believe in them. I think if you want to look at their schedule, and the only good team that they've beaten this year is the Vikings, and you want to say
Yep.
the Eagles, or I'm sorry, the Cowboys. But when they beat them, Cooper Rush was there, so they've been playing. If you look at their year schedule, it isn't that impressive. I mean, is it hard to go 8-0 in this league? Absolutely, but
Big time.
I don't think I'm not really buying into them as much as some others. So and and losing to, in again winning to divisional, like sweeping your division is really, really hard. I mean,
Absolutely.
you had to have anticipated losing a couple games along
Yeah.
the way. Not that I didn't think they were going to lose to the Commanders, but hey, I mean, I guess it's no different than when I say I would be surprised when I said at the start of the year I wouldn't be surprised if we lost a game to the Lions, and who knew? We
It
did.
And
So
happens,
if we would
unfortunately.
have beat the Lions, we would be right on the doorstep, and I would feel a lot better where we at 5-5.
mhm.
But I'm with you. Like, you have to give Philadelphia all the credit in the world for where they're at. But I think with
Absolutely.
their loss and the Dallas loss this week, Minnesota has to be right now the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
I totally agree. They're my
I
pick
think
to
so.
win the Super Bowl.
Are they? Wow,
Yep.
interesting.
My pick.
Well, they
Mhm.
better hope that they get some like witchery or magic or however you want, whatever word you want to use out of Justin Jefferson again, because that catch was fucking
He
unbelievable.
is insane.
Yeah.
He's like not human. He's
Yeah.
so talented.
I,
Mhm.
I
Best catch ever. I want to ask you this, both of you guys, best catch ever, because technically the Giants could have two of the best catches of all time. Was
yeah,
that the best catch you've ever seen, Nick?
I think so. Only uh, I think the athleticism in the OBJ catch was probably
Mhm.
more on show because he was kind of bending
Horizontal.
backwards
Yeah.
on the side on the sideline. But the fact that, I mean, you can say the that catch to the Steelers. My gosh, why can't I kind of think about that? Way back in the 70s, Dan.
Oh, Franco Harris.
Yeah,
The
the
immaculate
immaculate catch.
reception.
Yep, reception. Yeah, that doesn't do it for me. I mean, some older football fans probably would still say that's the best catch they've ever seen, maybe because it had more of an impact. But I still think that Justin Jefferson catch just this last week, how he was
It was
able to
wild.
keep the ball kind of like just a couple inches up off the ground that through that entire process with a defender draped all over him. On top of
Mhm.
and it was a 4th and 18. Yeah, that's
It was
probably up
special.
there. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But Em,
And
I know
then
you know this, arguably the best catch in Super Bowl history.
the Victor Cruz one.
No,
Nope.
David Tyree.
Yes.
David Tyler.
I knew you know
Yeah,
what I
the
meant.
helmet,
The
helmet
helmet catch.
catch.
Oh, that wasn't Victor Cruz?
Yeah,
No.
David Tyree.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
His 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do know what one you're talking about though, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was cool.
because of it was Super Bowl. That's crazy. Like, if you put that Justin Jefferson catch on 4th and 18 in a Super Bowl and they beat Buffalo, that is
There's no question.
no argument that that's the greatest
Mhm.
catch of all time.
Mhm.
Yep.
I
I
totally
agree.
agree with that. Yeah.
I
Well, and
agree.
then did you see Diggs had a really nice catch. It wasn't that amazing, but that one hand, he was leaning back. I thought that was pretty impressive. And then
Yep.
a few minutes later, Justin Jefferson had the catch and he was up shown, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I mean, there is a lot of, and Dan said this several times, that but there is a lot of very good receivers in the league, and they're doing a
Mhm.
lot of things that you probably never thought that they could do probably 10 years ago. Just these one-handed catches are unbelievable, but they
I
spend a
totally
lot
agree.
of time practicing that.
Practicing those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
also those gloves now are just stupid.
So sticky and everything.
I can, if I can catch a ball with 3 fingers with one of those gloves, those guys should be able to catch anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That's
which,
true.
Nick, I know we're talking Packers. Christian Watson, 3 touchdowns. Why does it still look like he's going to drop every pass? Am I
It's
the
so
only one
nerve-wracking.
that he's been catching everything with his body, and I get so scared. It looks like he's going to drop those balls.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just got to he's got to trust himself yet. And I know he's had a history of drops even in college, and then in the first game, and then those
Mm-hmm.
first 2 throws to him against that Cowboys game, man, I think he's just got to really believe in himself and believe in his hands. But he's different where like I feel like, and maybe this it's not a fair comparison, but Hopkins, he's gonna go back and he's got this giant wide catch radius, and he's gonna do anything he can to go and catch that ball with one hand, whatever he needs to do. Watson is a whole different animal with his athleticism. I think he relies on getting open down the field, and he needs, which he will do, and he has done. But I think he's not going to need to have those as many contested catches, because I think he's going to be open because he's bigger and faster than a lot of DBs. But I hear you. There's some of those towards like some of those other ones. It's just like, oh, but
he caught it, and that's all that matters.
Yep, he caught it, and then we're walking in the end zone. So I think Emily froze up. I was going to say she was taking a really long drink of her cranberry juice. There you are.
I'm frozen. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I was like,
our Wi-Fi here sucks.
Yes, but I agree. There were some times there that I was just like, please catch it. But let's talk a little Packers though before we move on. Dan, what do you think? I know you said that they were done, and they probably are done, but I think that was a drastic step forward. And I think that last Sunday afternoon, even though they had an idea of what their identity was, I think it was pretty much established against Dallas. Run the football, have your two wide receiver set out there, have a tight end and your fullback if you need them, or have Dylan and Aaron Jones out there. But don't force it to maybe spread it out unless you absolutely have to. I think they've established defense and running first, and then kind of building off of that. So
Rodgers didn't throw the ball an awful lot.
I think 20 times.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And like I've been saying all season, what has Green Bay not been able to do all year? Make big plays. When you want to run the ball primarily, you have to be able to hit those shots. The Ravens do it. Tom Brady back in his Patriots day, when it was more run and dump off, he would make those big plays. Green Bay hasn't been able to do it. And because they got Watson loose a couple times and they did hit those big plays, they were able to obviously capitalize on some opportunities. So I told you this. I'm like you. We have Aaron Rodgers. We always have if we have a mathematical chance, I'm not going to sell us. If we'd have lost to Dallas at 3-7, there's just no way, because you got to win out. And even then, but like I said, if we would have beat Detroit and we're 5-5 right now, would I be thrilled? No, but I would feel just fine.
I think
at
so
4-6, I still need to see more consistency, but I do feel a lot better about it. And Nick, you and I talk about it all the time. I feel a lot better about the confidence that's growing with that young group of wide receivers.
Yep. Emily, what about you? What do you think? What do you think about those Green Bay Packers?
I totally agree with everything. Hot take. I think Bakhtiari needs to be cut. I say this every single week. I can't stand him. He's injured more than he plays. And even when he plays, I don't think he's the same guy that he was when he signed the big deal. I feel like he has had a lot of flags on him, a lot of penalties. And he's just taking up way too much space in the salary cap. I don't think he's worth it. He missed a full season and a half.
Pretty close, yeah.
Almost, yeah. And then he goes out all the time. He's always in that blue tent. That's got to be like his second home, But I'm over him. I know it's a hot take. I know everybody loves him. Number 69, Ty's favorite player. But I can't. I'm done.
Done with it. So that's funny that you say that, because and I was actually going to ask this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, but we surprise, surprise, we got sidetracked and went down a rabbit hole, and I forgot to ask. I was going to ask you guys, come off season, who is the first Packer that's going to get cut as a cap victim? And I was going to say David Bakhtiari.
Yeah,
I think after this season, it's going to hurt because, like, he's been our all pro left tackle for the last or almost 10 years. But
absolutely.
I think that's
it's time to cut ties.
And, if you look at that cap situation, though, with him, surprisingly enough, and maybe this isn't surprising to you, but I thought it was surprising. We're only going to save $6 million if we cut him. So
what?
Yeah, I mean, because of his cap hit, because of the dead money compared to the cap hit, we're still
okay.
Well, yeah, we'll only save 6. We'll have a lot of money on the dead money there, but I really don't agree with having dead money on your books, because I feel like at that point, why not just keep the guy? What are you going to get with that? What are you going to get with $6 million? You're not going to get it. I mean, David Bakhtiari is hurt, and he's been kind of finicky lately. I agree 100%. But are you going to go out and get an all pro left tackle for $6 million?
No way.
I don't think so. But we'll see. Dan, do you have anybody else who you think is going to be a cap victim in Green Bay come spring?
I haven't looked at the cap a lot, honestly, yet, Nick. And I love to play GM, so I'll definitely do more of that. You know how I felt about Amari Rodgers.
Thank God he's gone.
Ask Nick. I text Nick every Sunday. Just ask, when are we going to cut him?
Yeah.
When are we going to cut him? I'm not thrilled that the guy lost his job. Like, he was a good dude. LaFleur, I read the article on him and Kylan Hill, and it sounds like Kylan Hill had some personal issues.
I read that off the field stuff.
Yeah, and I liked Kylan Hill, and we drafted him too. But yeah, if you're a culture piece and you're a third stringer, you got to fall in line. I'm not happy about Amari Cooper, but the guy has 8 catches this year, but 5 fumbles. I mean, I know some of those are on punt returns, but how much longer do you allow that? And in key situations, didn't he muff the punt against the Jets that pretty much cost us a possible win, and then the fumble on the punt against Dallas that could have been extremely costly. So he had to go. I'm sorry. I don't know wide receiver depth. I know, Nick, like you said, it was sad that we had to give up that quick on a 3rd rounder, but he had to go. And another guy who we're not cutting, and obviously, like, this is an overreaction, but I am not happy about all the money we spent on Jair Alexander. He's been torched. And also his attitude. I hate these corners that just run their mouth. If you shut somebody down all game, you can talk. But if you're getting paid $23 million a year and you're running your mouth and getting unsportsmanlike conducts, but you're giving up bombs.
Yeah, not okay.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah. So about Amari, one last thing on Amari Rodgers. He fielded 28 punts this year. 8 of them were fair catches. And he, not counting quarterbacks, he led the league in fumbles with 5. And 4 of them were on catching punts, were muff punts.
That's not okay.
Nope, not okay. And like they say, when you have the football in your hands, you are carrying the entire organization. You're carrying every single player, every single coach, everybody up in the front office to the secretary at the Packers Pro Shop. You're carrying them on your back when you have the football in your hands, and you need to hang on to that ball. So,
and with special teams in today's game, I mean, who didn't love Devin Hester housing it, or Dante Hall returning punts? I mean, it's so exciting. Right now in today's game, just give me a guy that's going to go fair catch the ball. Let me get my offense back on the field. If you're a kick returner, just let him kick it in the end zone. I don't need to watch you get tackled at the 12-yard line. I was the starting quarterback in high school. We were so bad that my coach literally was like, go catch punts. You're not allowed to run it. I wasn't quick, but he's like, just go catch the ball, and we get the ball back on offense. So maybe that I'm biased according to that, but I just could not handle watching Amari Rodgers every week.
Mm-hmm.
Every week we were yelling at the TV.
because it happened at least, or he had, you know, he muffed it or something, you know, every single week there was something
Yep.
frustrating.
Absolutely. Well, what do you guys think about the game tomorrow night? You guys got any predictions?
Packers Titans.
I kind of see us. Go ahead, Emily.
I think Packers are going to win it. I think they're turning the season around. I think they just needed that little spark under their butts. I feel like they all, you know, saying kumbaya, you know, they're all feeling each other. I think they're going to turn it around. I mean, Derrick Henry's going to be a tough pill. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's that good. And I think he's going to be back starting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he played last week, I believe.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Malik Willis went in for one play and fumbled it.
Fumbled it.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I missed
Tannehill
that.
will be playing the whole game barring a
Mhm.
setback.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dan,
I don't know,
what do
but Vrabel's a tough guy. Tough
Yes, he
coach.
is.
I
Mhm.
think I know what Nick's gonna say because Nick loves Green Bay's defense. I don't think if Green Bay just shows up, they don't even have to play their best game. If they show up ready to go, I don't think Tennessee is balanced enough to beat us if we show up.
Yep. I agree.
I like that take.
I feel like they're the Packers and the Titans are very similar in a lot of ways, but we have one advantage there, and that's at quarterback. I think that I think we're both run first teams at this point, and we're gonna struggle stopping the run because we have all year, and now we're going up against Derrick Henry. That's not going to be easy. But I think that when we do throw the football, I think that we're gonna have I think they're gonna have a good game throwing because their starting corner is out. And I think we're gonna torch them through the air, but also keep that balance because that's when we do win, that's kind of been our winning formula. So if they get away from that, just start chucking it around the yard again, 30, 40, go close to 40 times a game, then I don't see that we're not going to win, but we need to run the football. So I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. I think there's going to be a lot of the time. There's going to be long methodical drives, and I bet you it's going to be a 21-17 kind of game, personally. So, but Emily froze up again. Hopefully we'll get her back real soon.
Well, then while she's popping back, Nick, do you want to go into my quick little trivia segment just so we can do that? And then we can go right into, while we're on the talk of fantasy, because it's all fantasy related, we can talk about your guys' players of the week and predictions.
Yep.
Okay. Well, awesome.
She
just popped off, so I'm sure she's probably just restarting.
Yeah.
Since we didn't get to talk a lot about it, Nick, do you have any hot takes on the game last week? Any other feedback with the game against the Cowboys?
I was very much wrong about Micah Parsons. I thought he was going to have there she is. There's Emily.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You on your phone now?
Yeah.
That's all right.
We have damn Spectrum, 18, one of them, and they suck. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Yep,
Okay.
that's okay. That's okay.
I was gonna say while we were waiting, I asked Nick for some hot takes on the Packers Dallas game.
Okay, what'd you say?
Well, I was gonna say I was very, very much wrong about Micah Parsons. I thought he was gonna have a minimum of 2 sacks, but we did a very, very good job keeping him in line. I was impressed. And I'm surprised that Lazard didn't get the ball as much. I'm not complaining about Christian Watson catching those bombs. I'd like to see that. That's the whole reason why I like that guy. But I think you know what I thought about a lot after the game though was that comment that you had, Dan, about I can't remember who was on that week, but when an offense has a guy out and because of an injury or for whatever reason, that's just kind of that gear, whatever, that kind of makes things click all the way around. That's what came to my mind after he was in the game for an entire game, and they were giving him some targets. That was the first time this year that he made it a whole game and he was playing significant snaps. So I think that he is the kind of that guy that's going to make this offense kind of roll. And I'm excited for it. I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah, though you have those 3 rookie wide receivers that are all still figuring it out. Rodgers is still figuring them out. There's no timing. Like, other than this year, have you ever seen Rodgers just miss more throws?
No.
It's not because Rodgers forgot how to throw the ball. It's because the timing and the depth is not down. So I agree 100%. Lazard is not a 10 target guy like Devontae was, but he gives that consistency and kind of that structure. So yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I was gonna say, should we get into that who am I, or that guessing thing, and then Emily, we're gonna dive into our players of the week and our predictions, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit more football. And we'll call her a night.
Yeah, so we did a who am I segment. I think it was actually with Stu.
It was.
So we'll keep it in the family. We're gonna do a little who am I, and then I have some trivia questions. They're fantasy related, just 5 quick questions. So we're gonna do some who am I.
Okay.
Just to kind of set this up. The last time I did the who am I was kind of talking about some fantasy busts. This week we're gonna go with some fantasy surprises. So that's gonna be your hint.
Okay.
So I've got 3 who am I's here, and I'll just read through them, and I'll let you guys kind of talk through all 3 at the same time. So far left, 24 years old, 2nd season. He's currently RB10. I did some extra looking. He was the 35th running back drafted in our fantasy league. He has 35 catches, 227 yards, 618 rushing, 5 total touchdowns. So he's got 845 total yards. He's only playing 2/3 of the snap. 6 foot, 230, and he was taken in the 10th round. Anybody have any ideas on him?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, while you're thinking about it, I'll read off the other 2 just so you guys can you can help each other. Guy in the middle, same kind of thing. Now, this guy was taken in the 6th round, so those mid rounds. He's also only 23 years old, in his 2nd season, currently wide receiver 15. He was drafted as wide receiver 24, 49 catches, 518 yards. Now, he's been banged up, so his numbers actually would be even better. If you look, weeks 1 through 3 and 8 to 10, he had 63 targets. From weeks 4 to 7, he was pretty banged up, missed some time. Plays almost the whole game, 6 foot, 202 pounds. And the last guy on the right, more of your veteran pick. He was taken in the 7th round, but he has been in the top 17 in fantasy the last 5 seasons, but he was still the 31st wide receiver taken and currently sits as wide receiver 10. So again, these are some guys who maybe were drafted a little later than they should have. And I'll give you a hint. The guy on the left and the guy on the right are technically not the top running back and top wide receiver on their team, or at least at the start of the season they weren't.
Okay, I think I know the one on the right.
Okay. What do you have for a guess?
Tyler Lockett.
You are absolutely correct.
Oh,
yes. Awesome.
Stop.
And you said
Tyler Lockett is the guy on the right. So obviously him and DK, it's not really a 1 and 2. It's like a 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 31st wide receiver taken, even though he hasn't finished outside of the top 17, I thought that was pretty crazy. I'm sure a lot of it's because of his age. But having a great season on. Nick and I have talked about this, a very surprising Seattle team.
Okay, so you said that similar situations, you said that technically that running back on the left is not technically the guy.
Going into the season, it was also a 1A, 1B. He wasn't a backup, but he was technically second on the depth chart, but it was very much an even split, which is why he was drafted lower, but he's clearly the guy now. And I'll give you another hint. It helped that the other guy got hurt.
Oh, I know this.
When you say it, I'm going to be like, duh.
Can you make it 2 for 2?
Maybe. Michael Carter.
Nope.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. Same division.
As Michael Carter.
Is it Ravondre Stevenson?
It is.
Oh.
So
Mhm.
he was the 35th running back taken. He's currently RB10.
Damn.
And then the
Damn.
guy in the middle, I think the guy in the middle, personally for me, but I'm just a huge fan of this guy. So this one I thought would be the easiest one, but you nailed Tyler Lockett pretty quick. So again, second year wide receiver, been a little banged up, but when he's playing, he is an elite guy.
All right, Emily, I have an idea of this, but I'm gonna see what if you have anybody on your mind here.
Oh my God. I am not good at stuff. Second season. Give me another hint.
He plays on my second favorite team. You probably don't know this. Nick, does that give it away for you?
I think I know who this is.
You probably don't know my second favorite team.
No. Give me a division.
NFC North.
NFC North. You're a Vikings guy.
No, Packers.
No, but your second favorite team.
Not the Vikings.
Bears.
Nope.
Oh, I know
Why?
what this is.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes.
There you go.
So Jake took him in the 6th. I was looking at Amon-Ra 7th, 8th round. That's the one guy I really wish I would have grabbed. Yeah. But I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I remember while we were drafting, he was definitely on. I was like looking at him like, yeah, he had a good end of the year, but do I? I just didn't. I wasn't sure, but well, yeah. I was wrong. I was very wrong there.
All right, that was fun. Good job, though. All right, so this I'll stop sharing the screen, but I have 5 questions, but I have the answers on the screen, so I'm gonna pull it up, and I'll just ask. We're gonna rattle through this because I know we got more stuff to do. And Em, you're on, so I had to do a Giants question.
Okay.
So I have 5 questions. I'm gonna see which of you can get more. Em, you need to get this first one.
Oh my God.
I am the top. So again, this is who am I? I am the top fantasy player for the New York Giants, not named Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley. Who am I?
Not named.
I have one of two. I have 2 options here.
Oh. It's definitely one of 2 or 3.
My first guess is going to be the tight end Bellinger.
Okay, Nick, I'm going to give you guys both an option.
He was
do you
want
to go with that, or do you want to go different? Because if you both have the same answer, I'm going to give you both a point.
That's the first guy that came to my mind, but I'm gonna take a different route, and I'm gonna say Darius Slayton.
It is Darius Slayton.
Oh yeah.
So, as good as the Giants are, and I love me some Saquon, Darius Slayton has 63 fantasy points, and he is 3rd on the Giants.
That's not that great.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting one, and again, I had to do a Giants one. So, all right. Nick, you got a point. Now we're going to go opposite end of the spectrum. I have scored 115 points this season, but I'm the typical 4th option on my own team. Who am I? And this is 115 points, not including the quarterback. So 115 points as technically their 4th option.
And do we know what? Do we have you didn't give us a team.
No, but since I kind of gave M a heads up on the first question, Nick, this might be more of a heads up for you.
Okay.
Because I know it's a team that you follow quite a bit.
Tyler Boyd.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Yep.
Wait, I was going to say him too.
Were you? No, if you were, I'll give you a point. We go off of honesty here.
I was not going to say him. I was trying to think on the Packers.
All right. Yeah, I just thought that was crazy, the disparity. Even though the Giants have a better record fantasy-wise, it's just the Saquon and Daniel Jones show.
Yep.
I think Wan'Dale Robinson is a good up-and-comer for the Giants. I really do like Darius Slayton. Obviously, the Giants don't have a very consistent passing game, but Tyler Boyd, man, technically the fourth option, right? Obviously, Jamar being out, but 115 points. That's a lot of fantasy points going around Cincinnati. All right.
And I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one, in my opinion, is the most difficult question.
Sweet.
I'm going to give you each 2 guesses. I am currently the number 1 fantasy kicker in the league. Who am I?
Oh, Nick Folk.
Nope.
Oh.
I'll give you the second and third guess, and then I'll give Nick the fourth.
Dan Carlson.
Nope.
It can't be somebody obvious.
Oh, it's not. This I never would have. Once I say that the kicker and the team, you're gonna be like, oh, it makes sense now. But this is not. This is a tough question. I would never even got close to this.
Who's been kicking a lot of field goals?
And I'll give you a hint. It's not Justin Tucker, who is currently number 2. I'll give you another hint. NFC.
Yeah, I have a guy in mind.
And by the way, Nick, Nick Folk is number 4. So that was a pretty good guess.
I am going to guess. Oh shit, what's his name?
If you just tell me the team, I'll take it because I didn't even know the guy's name.
Seattle. No.
Yes.
Oh!
Yep.
What?
What's his name again?
Jason Myers.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Young Hoo Koo. That was gonna be my guess.
He
Young Koo.
is 12th. And obviously this is why you don't draft a kicker early, because it's honestly a crapshoot. But
yeah,
now that I say it, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Like Seattle, they've got a good offense, but it's not like they score a touchdown every drive.
Exactly.
So he's kicking a lot of field goals. Awesome. I'm glad one of you guys got that, because I would never have gotten it. All right. You're still alive.
Okay.
Here's a really fun one. I have thrown only 2 touchdown passes in 195 attempts this season, even though I'm completing 67%. Who am I? So 195 attempts. He's completing a high clip, but he's only thrown 2 touchdowns. I'll give you guys each 2 picks again. I'll let you go, and then Nick, you can have second and third, and we'll go back to M.
Can I ask, is he a starting quarterback currently?
He is a starting quarterback currently, yes.
Currently, but
because then I was gonna guess Joe Flacco because he throws for 60 passes a game. Okay, not my guess. I am going to guess. Who has low scoring games? Jimmy G.
Nope. Good guess. Nick?
okay. I have if he's currently starting 195 passes through 11 weeks, that's nothing. So he obviously hasn't been a starter. If he is right now, he hasn't been a starter all season.
That is correct.
Oh.
But he is starting now, and he will start moving forward, if that helps. That's the last hint I'm going to give you.
Will start going forward. Gosh, I don't want to sit here and put along on this, because I will go through all 32 teams in my head.
I'll give you one guess to make it even with M, and then if you don't get it, I'll give you guys the conference. Okay. Not the division, but I'll give you the conference. If I give you the division, it's too obvious.
I have 2 guys.
I want to say Taylor Heineke.
Nope.
But I don't think that was right. Yeah.
Nope. All right, so it's an AFC quarterback. I'll give you another hint. He has 3 rushing touchdowns, but only 2 passing touchdowns.
Okay, I have my guess.
Nick, I'll give you 5 seconds and then I'll let M guess first.
Yeah. Oh, no. Go ahead.
All right, M, who are you thinking?
Lamar.
Nope.
No. I'm gonna say that quarterback over in New England. What's his
Matt
name?
Jones.
No, the other one that Zappy.
Nope.
Ugh, this was a tough one.
Kenny
you-
Pickett.
He's only got 2 touchdown passes. He crossed my mind. I was like, but only I thought he had for sure
Yeah.
had 2.
That blew
Never-
my mind when I was looking up because I was trying to just find total random stuff for you guys. It blew my mind. Obviously, he's on my bench for the future. 2
Yeah.
touchdowns in 195 attempts, but he's completing 67% of his passes. So,
Something's
But
got
yeah.
to give.
all right. So you both got zeros. All right. This is multiple choice. So I'm just going to read it. Let me finish. There's 4 options. Whoever wants to blurt it out first. Em, if you get this, you guys tie.
Okay,
So,
pressure's on.
so far, who has scored? And I want you to think about this. And actually, sorry, there's 5 options. I might be trying to trick you. I might not. It might be obvious. Who has scored the most fantasy points so far this season? Is it A, Najee Harris, B, Gabe Davis, 3, Matt Stafford, D, Taysom Hill, or E, the Philadelphia defense? Najee Harris, Gabe Davis, Matt Stafford, Philly defense, Taysom Hill.
Gabe Davis.
That is correct.
Good work, Em. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
And why I asked that question is that not just crazy, like part of the fantasy just luck, that like a guy like Gabe Davis, who has very high ceiling, but has a lot of really low scoring games, has scored more than Stafford, Najee. Like, it blows my mind, but nice. I'm going to chalk you up both with the win on that. You both got 2.
Sweet.
Woo!
Well,
Yep.
should we while we're doing this, should we dive into our predictions right away?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to start with our player of the week, which is going to be last week's player of the week, and then we'll go into next week's player of the week, who we think's going to be the player of the week anyway. So, why don't you start off, with who was your week? Is it 10 last week? Week 10 player of the week.
I have to check because I forgot who I chose.
See, I do this as well. And I learned this about 3 weeks in that sometimes I forget who it is, so I write it down every single time so I know.
But you've done so many picks too, so it's like you got to keep them all straight.
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay, so my player of the week last week was Justin Jefferson. I think unstoppable. I think he is the best receiver in the league, hands down. I think Diggs is like shortly behind him, but I just think he's absolutely amazing. I think he could, if the MVP goes to a non-QB player, I think he's totally in the running for sure. Like I said before, I think the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl. They're my pick. I don't know. I just think he's absolutely amazing. And he's like a fun guy too. His little gritty, is that what he was doing? And then hammy pull. I thought that was hilarious. I freaked out. I totally believed it. I was like, oh my God, he's injured. But I just think he's like a cool guy too. Yeah.
Well, I'm all on board with you. Usually and unfortunately the MVP goes to the quarterback unless a running back has a really, really good year. But like Dan had said in the past, that offensive player of the year is the best offensive player that's not a quarterback. Well, as long as JJ doesn't get hurt, I think he's kind of got it locked up personally.
I totally agree.
So, but for me, I have to go with my boy, and I know this is a big surprise that I'm going to be taking somebody off my team, but I love that photo. 3, baby. Christian Watson, 4 catches for 107 yards and 3 tutties. Love that. And I am super excited for him and the future of this Packers offense. I think he's, I mean, look at him. Look at that. Like, he's fucking yoked, man. And he's 6'5", 4'3", 40. So, well, Em, what do you got for next week?
I have Justin Fields. Are you gonna pull it up, Dan? I forget who they play actually off the top.
I just didn't want to ruin Nick's pick, but I'll pull it up right away.
Okay, cool. Or does it say who they play? At
Yes.
Yes. Like I said before, I think the Falcons are washed, not a good team. Marcus Mariota, zero faith in him. I think they're kind of injured off the top of my head. I could be wrong about that though. But the Bears, they're exciting. Justin Fields, he has like 260-yard plus rushing touchdowns this year. He's insane. I think he's getting the confidence and everything that he needs. I think his team is behind him. I think the Bears are a team to reckon with, I'm behind them for sure.
Yeah, Nick asked me 2 weeks ago if I regretted that trade to Stu. I traded Justin Fields and a first rounder for Kyler Murray and a second rounder, thinking, I need a quarterback that I can trust. I didn't feel good about starting Justin Fields in the fantasy playoffs. And I told Nick, no, I don't regret it. Like, I made the decision I think was smart. If you ask me today, it might be the only trade I've made this season that I kind of don't feel great about it. So I like that pick. I saw Matthew Berry released his predictions for the week. He's got Justin Fields as fantasy QB1 this week. So I think that's a good pick against that one.
Awesome.
So I think a similar reason why he had him at QB1 this week is he was going up against the Falcons is pretty similar to why I had Lamar Jackson. He's going up against a bad Panthers team, and I think they're going to
cats.
Yep, that's right.
Kitty cat defense.
Yep,
Lamar,
and I think I think he's going to kind of run all over them. So I see Lamar having a much better game than he normally has, which is just saying something. So
I totally agree. I think the Panthers are going to be embarrassed big time by the Ravens. I think it's going to be a
Yep. Well, should we do our locks right away? So then we can we'll do some wrap up with some NFL talk and.
So Nick, before I pull up this graphic, Nick, do you know what happened?
Yeah, I do. I was thinking about that Monday. Actually, I was like, "Motherfucker!" I went 0-2, and Dan went 2-0.
I needed vindication because I went 0-2 the first time that I was on here with you on week 2. I went 0-2, so I had to help the guest back out and do a little vindication.
Yeah, well, now I lost my lead.
And you deserve it. You bet against your Green Bay Packers, so I think it's only right.
I was using my brain and not my heart for one day. Well, anyways, let's get into our locks and upsets. And Emily, do you got those on hand?
I do. I have for my lock, I have Baltimore, and for my upset, I have the Bears.
Yep. Okay, so they're playing the Falcons, and then, well, coincidentally, you picked both teams of both quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yep.
So my lock, now that I'm back down to 500 here, my lock is going to be the Bills over the Browns, and this one was really tough for me. The upset. This was a tough decision because typically the Jets and young quarterbacks don't fare well against Bill Belichick. And I might be, this might not work out in my favor, but I'm hoping that the Jets here kind of have a rebound here and upset the Patriots. But that was a tough one.
That's the only pick I don't like this week, only because here's a stat for you, Nick. The last time they played, New England won by 5 on the road. Now they're at home. And just to your point, Zach Wilson threw for 1,000,000 yards, but he threw 3 picks and completed less than 50% of his passes. Yeah. So even though I think the Jets have improved, I don't know if I could bet against New England this week, but I don't think that's a terrible pick.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see. I lost my lead, and that hurts a little bit. I know I was 2 games over, and then I think Kai actually got a game back on me, and then a very poor showing last week, and now we've lost it completely. So, you know what? I have to say this, and Dan, you and I we talked about it just briefly before Emily jumped on. Kai has to insert another player or 2 on his fantasy team, but Emily, I'm not sure if you had noticed, and I make sure you tease him a little bit for us tonight.
Yeah. What?
He's currently only projected 57 points.
I think he should just stick with who he's got. He's got to believe in his team.
He doesn't.
Keep his roster the way it is. Give it at least another week to see how they're doing.
It is so bad. It's so bad. Like, thank God he got rid of Russell Wilson and what's his face? Javonte is on the IR. Jerry Jeudy, what happened with him? Did he get traded?
No.
Or no, get hurt?
Yes, he traded Sutton, I think.
Yeah, Sutton.
Oh no,
yeah.
he still has Sutton, sorry.
Okay, I just remember seeing Jerry Jeudy in my 1,000,000 ESPN notifications that I get every day, but I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, no, his team is so bad. He always scores below 100 points. I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kai made a mistake, I think. I'm really glad he didn't take this a while back, because I'm a huge Jameson Williams fan, and I know he wants to hang on to Jameson. But I was obviously Kai was, middle of the road for a while, and then before the wheels fell off, I offered him 2 first-round picks and Tony Pollard for Javonte Williams on IR, Jameson Williams on IR, and I think a second rounder, and he turned it down and didn't even counter. I'm really glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, I would be too. Mm-hmm.
We love Kai, we love him to pieces, but we hope that things turn around in the future, and hopefully it isn't too stressful over there for you guys on Sundays.
Do we know who he traded? Who did he get to when he traded his first round pick to John? Do we know who he got in that one?
We'd have to go way back.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Was that part of the Trevor Lawrence trade, maybe?
No, that was way back. That was, I bet you, towards the start of the season, before you know where you're sitting with that first round pick. That's why I was really reluctant to be trading mine away, because you don't know how things happen, or how it's going to play out, and how do you know that I mean, everybody thinks that they have a winning team at the start of the season, right? So until you're halfway through and you're getting your ass kicked, and then you're like, oh shit, maybe I should have kept my first round pick. Well, I didn't want to be in that situation. So, but hey, Emma, I do want to ask, I have a couple questions for you. Since we're talking about fantasy again, and that's not a bad thing. What was your kind of your strategy going into the draft, the vet draft, way back in March?
I would say I didn't really have a strategy.
Okay.
I mean, I did want to go running back. I've never played in a PPR league before. This is my first time. So I was big on running backs are always the way to go, and then I kind of had to retrain myself to receivers. So I think I went running back, and then receiver, maybe 3 receivers in a row. I don't know. I didn't look back at what I did. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a
You went running back Swift and then Diggs, great pick. Again,
Ooh.
if DeAndre doesn't get hurt, your first 2 picks are fantastic.
Yeah.
3rd round Zeke, obviously banged up. Keenan Allen was your 4th rounder, banged up. 5th round Dak was out. 6th round Marquise Brown out. 9th round Trey Lance out. So I don't think your draft was bad. I think you had a really good balanced draft. I just think you got bit by the injury bug real early.
Oh, should we talk about my injury bug quick? I have it written because we need to go into detail about it. Let me pull it up.
Let's do it.
Let me move it.
And while you're pulling that up, how do you feel now about that trade for Tua? You got to be feeling pretty good having Tua now.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I feel really good about it. I wish I didn't give up a 1st round pick to you. But I do feel good about it. I love Tua. It sucks he's on bye this week, so I have to start Dak. But it'll be okay.
But that's where I think the trade made sense for both of us. He was expendable for me, picking up a draft pick, but you got a guy who's young and can be your starter for the next 5 years on a very dynamic offense.
He's very good. Okay, so let's see here. I labeled this injured QB timeline. Week 1, he gets hurt. Dumb thumb injury. Okay, he's out multiple weeks. Week 2, I make the trade with Dan. Trey Lance, or I get Trey. Oh, no, sorry, hang on. I had Trey Lance. He was my backup quarterback, week 2. Now, because Dak is hurt, Trey Lance starts. He goes down for the rest of the season. Then I get a trade with Dan. I get Tua and J.D. McKissick, and he gets, what did you get? Oh, a 2023 3rd round, Trey Lance, and a 2023 1st round. I messed this up. Okay, but yeah, picks and Trey Lance. I get rid of my 1st round. Week 3, I'm feeling good. I got Tua. Dolphins are looking real good. I start him. Okay. Oh no, not yet. Week 3, he has the back injury.
Oh, yeah.
So he's out for, I think he came back after he was out for a little bit, but anyways, he missed a good chunk of the game. Okay. I lost track. I have a paragraph here. Okay. Week 3, Tua back injury. Week 4, thinking it's all good. Tua starts. He gets the hands. Now, so then I decide I'm going to pick up Teddy Bridgewater. Dolphins are still looking real good. You got 2 great wide receivers. We'll get some points. Week 5, Teddy Bridgewater gets a concussion and he's out. Then, okay, let's pick up Cooper Rush. Pick up him. Cooper Rush, not doing too bad. I have him start week 6. Okay. Dak is officially off the IR, but he's not starting yet. Week 7, Dak starts, and then week 8, Tua comes back and blah, blah, blah. But I was beside myself at the beginning of the season. I just couldn't catch a break. I think I said in our group chat, I am the team where a quarterback goes to die. If you wanted anybody, just send them my way. It was painful.
Weird. Yeah, we wanted you to trade for Kirk Cousins in the worst way.
That would have been the funniest thing. And don't forget, I'm not going to lie, I tried taking advantage of after Tua got hurt. I was like, I can give you Jimmy G for cheap.
Hey,
she's like, no, I'm good. I'll just go on the waiver wire. Hey, I had to ask, right?
You did.
Hey, and I know Dan liked that breakdown that I had last week about the GM and the Dolphins GM, but I loved that breakdown, of your quarterback situation the first 6, 7, 8 weeks of the year. That was fantastic. Thank you for that.
No problem.
So I have a couple more questions for you guys, and so we're down 2 head coaches. The first one was a little bit of a surprise, and that was oh shit.
Frank
Oh
Reich?
my, no, he wasn't the first one to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Matt Rule was the first
Matt
one to
Rule.
go.
Oh,
And then, yep. And then Frank Reich went. And then we had all the drama down in Indianapolis with Jeff Saturday coming in with absolutely no head coaching experience outside of high school. I don't see that working out well long term. They had the perfect storm there going up against Las Vegas, but we're down 2 head coaches from the start of the season. Who do you guys think is the next to go? And do you think it's going to be before the end of the year?
what week are we in? 11?
Yep.
I think Josh McDaniels is going to be fired. I do think he's going to make it the rest of the season just because he is a first year coach with that team. I I mean he had his stint in Denver.
Yep.
And I just don't think he has what it takes to get to be a head coach. I think he's a fantastic assistant. And what was he, the defensive coordinator? Offensive? Offensive. I think he's great at that. Absolutely. But yeah, I think he's gonna go.
Do you
That's
think
pretty
he's
typical with, sorry, Nick. I think that's pretty typical for New England. You remember the Belichick tree? He's got a lot of great coordinators, but every time they go take over a head coaching job, they never work out.
Yep. Like the guy with the Lions.
Patricia, you had Charlie Weiss, you had Romeo Cornell. I mean, there's a long list.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Do you guys do you see Josh McDaniels back in red and blue next year?
I don't think Vegas is going to fire him quite yet. I don't think it'd be really fair to. Now, I agree with them wholeheartedly. I don't think he's a good head coach. I thought that was a terrible hire. I don't think they can, because that team was pretty rough when he took over. Like there was a lot of pieces that were pretty jacked. So I don't think you can fire him quite yet. But I actually was thinking about this on my drive home today, Nick. That's a great question. If he does get fired or when he gets fired, I could see him going back to New England. Because who knows how much longer Belichick has left. So I wonder if that wouldn't be a bad idea for him to go back and then maybe take over the Patriots. I wouldn't hire the guy as a head coach, but that would be my thought.
I wonder if he would do better then too because he knows that team, you know. I don't know.
I think the Patriots, like if Belichick retires in the next year or two, I think that roster's in trouble.
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely. And their cap situation's in some serious trouble because they've drafted so poorly the last couple of years. They've had to compensate by overspending in free agency. So they're gonna be hurting, and maybe they're kind of hanging on right now, and maybe not even next year, but right now they're just kind of hanging there. But I agree 100%. So one more question for you guys. Do you have, I would like to hear, and because we're a little over halfway through the season, do you have an overachiever and also an underachiever? And I'm going to throw a loop for you because I didn't really prepare you for this, but the Packers are not going to be allowed in your underachiever team. So because they are underachieving. So is there another team that's underachieving? But let's start with the overachievers. Dan, why don't you start, and then we'll kind of I'll let Emily take the next overachiever, and then Em, you could start with your underachiever.
Okay.
All right. I was just pulling up the teams. Overachiever. I'm not going to do it to M because I do think the Giants are overachieving.
No, you take them because I have another one. It's okay.
Okay. I have to say Seattle, even though I'm a fan of, sorry.
It's okay.
Even though I'm a fan of Pete Carroll and how he looks at coaching, he's always best player plays. I don't give a shit if he's making $2 million or $200 million. I just have always liked the way he structured that. Obviously, like the way he kind of destroyed their possible dynasty with the whole interception on the goal line debacle, but I was not expecting Seattle to be 6-4 and leading what I thought was going to be the best division in football, the NFC West. So that's my overachiever. With that being said, I do think they're kind of the real deal. I think San Fran right now is the best team in that division, but I think Seattle is going to be a playoff team. I don't think they're contending for a Super Bowl, but definitely an overachiever. Nick, at the start of the year, you asked who we would have picked as our bottom three teams. I think I had Atlanta, Houston, and Seattle. So I have to go with them as an overachiever.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I am 100% backing Seattle. The whole Russell Wilson thing makes me so happy, and I don't know what that says about me as a person, that I think it's so funny that Russ Wilson is just failing miserably. Good for Seattle. I'm totally backing them. But my overachiever has to be the Giants. Going into the season, I had zero faith. I thought we were maybe going to get 2 or 3 wins. We have 7 wins now. I am so pumped. I think we can easily win a few more games this season. I think we're definitely a contender for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, Emily, I have to ask your opinion of this, and maybe you and I have had this conversation in the past. But what are your thoughts on Daniel Jones and the future of Daniel Jones?
Going into the season, I did not think he was the guy. I thought, let's just cut ties. Let's get rid of him. He's changing my mind. I still don't think he's the guy, but I think he's the guy for now. I'm totally fine with them drafting a quarterback in this upcoming draft. Or trading for someone. I don't really know. I would be nervous to sign him for another deal because I don't fully trust him.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. We shall see. So, Dan got ahead of you on the overachiever. So why don't you start off with the underachiever?
The Cardinals. I cannot
It's a good one.
the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, I think, is horrible. He's fast and agile. I'll give him that, but I don't think he is a great NFL quarterback at all. They do have a lot of injuries. I'll give him that, like especially with Zach Ertz going down. I don't know. You can't always just throw to DeAndre Hopkins either. That's not. He's going to be double teamed or something. Like you need to spread the ball out, and I don't know if they necessarily do that. And I just think Kyler Murray is not. He is not the guy either. And it looks like Cliff Kingsbury, I can never remember what his last name is. I think he's also on the hot seat too, for sure.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Well, it's fair. Em took my team there, and she also took my take on Kingsbury. I love when they go after these young offensive-minded head coaches. I think like that's the next thing, but the more that's happening, they're starting to not work out very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you. I am not a Kyler Murray fan. I will have him on my fantasy team because he is a quick, agile, and they throw the ball 9,000 times a year. But yeah, they're definitely an underachiever. My pick would be the Chargers, just because the amount of talent that they have on that team. But I'm not going to pick them because they, maybe even more than Green Bay, have had more key injuries than any team in the league, and they're still 5-4. So my pick is actually going to be surprising, and it's Nick's team, the Bengals. Now, hear me out, because they're also 5-4, but they are just extremely underwhelming for me right now. That division is not that good with Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Baltimore's not playing that well. So Cincinnati, yeah, they blew the doors off a couple teams, but they are not looking that great, and that defense is rough. So I would think coming off that Super Bowl low, which a lot of people thought might happen, they're really underwhelming right now. Do I think they can bounce back? Yes. But right now, I'd have to say the Chargers and Bengals, even though they're still in the hunt, just very underwhelming.
Yep.
Agreed.
I agree. Yep. And I was going to say, if I had to pick an underachiever, I was going to say the Los Angeles Chargers as well, even though they are 5-4. But as you said, I was going to say, they've had some significant injuries, and that probably contributed to that. Overachiever. I'm going to have to say the Indianapolis Colts at this point. I mean, I didn't really think that they were going to be coming in blowing the doors off of anybody. Did I think that the Titans would be 6-3 this year? At this point, no. But the Colts, as bad as they have been, they're only a half a game behind 500. That's pretty incredible for them, especially the shit show that they've been going through there. So, well, do you guys have any last thoughts before I throw a couple fun things out in Nick's notes before we wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, I got one thing. You saw me looking off camera for a while when you guys were talking. I was doing the digging on the trades. So I want to talk about, because you just talked about the Colts. So 3 months ago, and this is, by the way, you said you watch every week. We talk about Stu's trades all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That guy has had his hands on just about every key player or draft pick in the league. And some trades have worked out really well, some haven't. 3 months ago, Stu traded to Kai. This was Kai's downfall. Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Deontay Johnson, and a second-round pick. Now, granted, this was before the season, right? So you didn't really know. For Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Deebo Samuel, and Kai's first-round pick. So looking back now, holy shit, did Stu just bought the farm. The funny thing is, Stu got Deontay Johnson and Russell Wilson from me on draft day for Saquon Barkley. So it's funny how some of his trades just make zero sense, and then some of them work out. However, because I was trying to trace Kai's pick, right? So that was 3 months ago. Then Stu traded that first pick to John in the Jonathan Taylor deal. So that's how John wound up with that. But I thought that was interesting looking at these trades. And also, here's another fun trade that I found. Stu got David Montgomery, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson back, a first round and a second, but he gave up Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, and Hopkins. Like, how do you? He has had so many, and he traded me Nick Chubb. He traded me Kenneth Walker. He's had Tyreek Hill. He's had Deebo. He's had DJ Moore. He's had Hopkins. He had Kamara. Traded him, got him back. Like, it's the guy is crazy. I love it, but it's funny looking back at all these trades. So that was my last thought for the day. I thought that'd be fun.
I love it. I don't know if he's ever been this trade crazy in other leagues. I should ask him. I have no idea, but I know when he's just wild.
But in a dynasty, it makes more sense to make all these trades, because in a redraft, people really, like you said, people don't really want to trade away their players. But when it's a dynasty, and to his point, if you don't like your team, change it.
Absolutely. You got to be proactive at it.
So you guys see this space right here above my thumb?
Yeah.
There's going to be a whiteboard there real soon, and I wanted to have it before the deadline. I haven't gotten to that yet, but that's going to be, I'm going to have quotes. I'm going to have some fun stuff thrown there, but for sure there is going to be a section on Stu's trades, and we're going to have a tally mark, and then we're going to have a record. So I'm going to have record. Stu made, Dan, you might know offhand, 16 trades this year? Pretty close to that, probably, maybe if more than that.
I will go back and count when we're done tonight. I'll count and I'll have that stat ready for next week.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a whiteboard up there. I'm gonna have a record of Stu's trades, and then each year I'm gonna have a tally mark, and we're gonna keep track of that. But I think that's a perfect spot right here next to Clay for a whiteboard and throw some fun stuff on there. But I'm gonna throw a couple fun things. And Dan, I was gonna add this to Nick's notes before, and I told you about this, but up until today, you had 3 players projected over 20 points. And none of them were quarterback. I thought that was incredible. It has gone down. You just only have one. I think it's Saquon is the only one that's over 20 points right now. Kelsey and CMC they went down. But
and I'm gonna need it because my matchup this week, Kai.
Yeah, I know. Kai, he's flying high and he's hot, man. It's gonna be a tough matchup for Dan this weekend. But a couple other things that I saw when I was doing some reading, the New York Jets defense is on pace to finish in the top 10 in scoring defense and total yardage defense, and after finishing dead last in both last year. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. Yes, and it's only the 4th time ever in the NFL since they started keeping track, which I believe goes back to 1955 since that's happened. So good for them. I think Sauce Gardner has something to do with that. And their other rookie picks that they had taken. The other thing that I thought was really exciting, and I'm even more excited to watch this weekend, is that there is approximately 31 inches of snow heading to Buffalo, New York this weekend. And that actually, when I looked at the radar, that's what they said was 31. And now it has been upped between 3 and 6 feet of snow between tomorrow and Sunday. So we're going to have a fun ass game to watch. Down I shouldn't say it down in Buffalo because that's not down, it's over in Buffalo. But very excited to see that. I love those snowy games. And I guess that's all I got.
I did not see that. That means definitely don't bet the over.
In which game?
That's in Buffalo versus, who did I pick? Oh,
Browns?
The Browns.
Good to know. Don't pick the over.
Yeah. And either Nick Chubb is going to have 200 on the ground because no one's going to be able to cut, or he's going to have -10 because no one's going to be able to have the ball.
Well, to also, I have to think that jersey selection is going to be more of a thought this time, because last time that this happened, that there was that much snow, or maybe not that much, but a significant amount of snow up in Buffalo. LaShawn McCoy was still on the Bills, and they they went all red tops, red bottoms.
So it was easy to see.
Yes, and they were playing the Colts, and the Colts historically on the road are all white, and they have white helmets. So even tougher to see in a whiteout condition. So if the Browns were smart, they'd probably go even if they have to wear those white tops, maybe throw on the brown jerseys the brown pants to help their guys out. So other than that, that's all I got for that. And I want to thank you both for being on. Emily, thank you for coming on. It was a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun. I've been looking forward to it all week. Yes, absolutely. And I know that you and Kai and a couple other guys were some tough sells on getting into this league. I remember we were at third. I remember the night. I don't remember the date of anything like that. But I remember telling you that Brian was there as well. I'm talking. I was telling you the whole spiel. I was giving you the whole pitch. Yep, Dynasty League.
we're going to do this draft, then another draft. I was giving you everything. And then you were like, I was halfway through my pitch and you're like, yep, I'm in. So
I'm in.
I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't know anyone outside of Nick. Well, I'd met Jake and John a couple times, but didn't know them really well. But this is by far the funnest fantasy league I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, this is awesome. I don't regret it at all. I can't wait to be in it for the next 20 years or whatever.
I hope so. I really hope that's how, as long, let's keep it going as long as possible. And I think we've got a really good group of people, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. But again, and we're going to keep this podcast going. Absolutely. We're going to definitely be I'm hoping to do this year round. But if that doesn't work out, we're definitely going to be doing this in football season. But thank you guys both for being on. Dan, thank you again for what you do and all the awesome visuals that you pull up. And go Packers tomorrow night, right?
Go Pack, go.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, you too. Peace.